So this is the greenhouse that I actually rebuilt and pretty much only used like one season. I'm not supposed to say I never got to use it. So this wasn't a greenhouse that someone gave me. It was just the frame or gave my dad before he passed away. And about 10 years ago or so, I got all new greenhouse materials. And when I went to screw the stuff in, I couldn't really get up here on the high portion. As you can see, a tree and a big hole here, or multiple trees. So I didn't get enough screws in here. So as the wind flopped around, for 6 months or whatever, it just started ripping it out. I made a raised bed there, and I had it full of like tropical and subtropical plants. And this is in a shady area, which means in the winter it's probably going to be pretty cold, cooler. I tried various methods of warming the greenhouse with the candle method, with fire pots and stuff, clay pots. Tried like 110 heaters. My tropicals pretty much just froze anyway, so it'd be ideal if we get something like this in the end, in the future, I should say, that is in the full sun. And a big issue we have is, I think this is an 8x12. It's hard to heat this size greenhouse on 110 or a small heater, but it's a wood, like the gas and wood burning heaters would make this place too hot. So it's too big, for the 110, too small for the larger greenhouse heaters. So going to like a 2, 3, 4 times the size would be a better option for more heat. Doing, maybe an insulated greenhouse versus just the sheets would probably be more efficient. But I think you have to replace those the sheeting in them insulated ones, which uses a fan. So it's like 2 sheets of like poly whatever sheets, and a fan blows in between them to create this insulation, this insulation factor or whatever. And that was something I looked at. Also looked at geothermal cooling and heating, but you have to start somewhere. And this did cost me a lot of money to get all these sheets. It was like $1,000. So there's $1,000 down the drain. Will I ever use this greenhouse in the future for something else, or for rebuild it again, move it? I don't know. We have it here just in case. But when you're gardening, even though I've been gardening for 20 plus years, I never greenhouse gardened. So this was my first venture into the greenhouse stuff. And sometimes you fail, and this was like a really bad failure. Hopefully I've learned a little bit from this mistake. I would also add that I haven't tried the water barrel method, where you put like a 25 gallons, 50 gallons, whatever, buckets full of water that absorb sunlight throughout the day, and they slowly release, slowly cool down throughout the night, so you don't get like these really big temperature drops. We're in the shade, which is probably one reason I didn't try that. But some of the trees around here do lose their leaves in the winter, so there may be, it might be okay to do that, but it would probably be better to have it in the full sun, so it gets a lot of heat built up. So I guess the other thing is that in this place, Florida, we could have a really hot day and it could roast your plants, and the next day or 2 days later it can be really cold and freeze your plants, especially tropicals and stuff. So I would have to manually open the door, to let the heat out. And I was planning to like put it on a thermostat an exhaust fan shutter system there. So yeah, I still got a respiratory infection, so coughing and all that good stuff. But yeah, I mean, everything is expensive, and this is a small one. I would rather spend that money and resources, putting a proper heater, proper exhaust systems. And there's some, like, I think greenhouse windows that use temperature to expand, like a shock or a spring or something. It springs it out at a certain temperature to help cool the greenhouse. I didn't get to explore that. Like I said, I only used it a little bit. It failed and all my plants were dead. So there, when you spend $1,000 doing a greenhouse, $1,000 or $500 or whatever on plants and seeds and all, and you don't even make it through one season, it's kind of like, oh, let's just give up for now.